scanner instead of those messy impressions, and an Invisalign outcome simulator which can show you within minutes how Invisalign can straighten your teeth. Give us a call at 474-1972 and let us show you how new technology makes a difference in the way we are able to care for you. Hearst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
An app.
Razorback news, podcasts, videos, and tons more online now. Only at hitthatline.com.
Don Le Batard.
Let's monitor my tone in this segment as I continue to get irritated by the unrelenting waves of stupidity that lap upon my shores.
Stugats.
Sorry.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Okay. Say you've never done this before, and that's cool.
If you missed any of our interviews, go check them out on demand in the Dan Le Batard podcast, brought to you by the Capital One Saver Card. Earn 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, 2% at grocery stores, and 1% on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Thanks to your continued support, we are close to achieving the goal of $100 million raised for the V Foundation. The fight is not over yet. Donate now at v.org/donate to help in the fight against cancer.
At Le Batard Show on Twitter, if you want to vote on the polls. Mike Ryan is marveling at Megan Rapinoe, the amount of pressure on her, how graceful she was in the face of that pressure. But, Mike, help me understand something here. When you say the pressure of that kick beyond the game details of, the Dutch are a defensive team and you need to score the goal that ends them so that the game opens up, beyond the game detail, you're saying it's a pressurized kick basically because there are a lot of people rooting for her in America, but also Trump's America is not rooting for her because she's fighting with the White House. She's made herself a face and spokesman and symbol for some people rooting for her to fail in that circumstance. You're thinking of that, or you're thinking of homophobes, or you're thinking why would people rooting against America just because America is easy to root against?
A lot. And if you've been following the women's national team for some time, none of these stances come as a surprise. Megan Rapinoe has been super outspoken for several years on a lot of these things, but a lot of people that haven't been following the sport were introduced to Megan Rapinoe because of what became a political discussion. Her social media accounts, the comment section, are a disaster area. It scares you. So, yeah, there were people in this country that I think were rooting against this country because they weren't paying attention to the team anyways. They just didn't want to see someone get a W like that.
They were rooting against her.
Yeah, they were rooting against her, and they didn't want anything good to happen. So to have all that pressure, the fact that she was cool throughout this entire week, because she's like, what these people have to say about me, I hear it all the time. Being a gay woman in America, I've heard this for several years. It's not going to faze me. When it's time for the penalty kick, she stands right up to the PK spot like she always does, and she buries it cool, calm, under pressure. When I'm just worried about her as a person and what's coming her way if she misses, it was unbelievably inspiring.
It was strange to find you and Stugat speaking specifically of the pressure of that moment, when I feel like if it had been men, Stugats would have been just saying, PKs are easy, I can make 9 out of 10 against a professional goalie.
But there's not a man playing soccer, especially not for the U.S. team, that would have that kind of pressure on them in that spot in that moment. I mean, Mike is right. There was a ton of pressure there. She misses, even if they go on to win. She still has a lot of people in her mentions who are happy that she missed that kick.
It's a PK in the World Cup. While it seems relatively easy and they're successful about it at over an 80% clip, it's still a pressure cooker situation. It's like an NBA free throw. You add that with all the off-the-field stuff that was coming her way. I mean,
Chris, why did you just raise your red eyebrows with delight?
Pressure cooker situation. That's a big one.
You like because you just.
I mean, Dan, there's nothing.
You ever put
like
something in a pressure cooker?
Yeah,
cooks quick.
It's
no time.
It's one of the more badass moments in sport. The president tweeted about her and said, "One should worry about winning." In so many words, worry about winning. And then she went out and won every individual trophy that tournament afforded her, as well as the World Cup trophy and the game-winning goal. Damn, that's a sports person of the year, open and shut.
There are moments that are pressure-filled, and then there are pressure cooker moments.
At which one's worse? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. At Le Batard.
Pressure cooker.
What's worse? A moment that is pressure filled or pressure cooker moment? Go ahead and update the polls at Levitard Show on Twitter, Stugotz.
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. The Dollar Shave Club delivers the products you use to look, feel, and smell your best. They deliver it right to your door. I'm fighting through one, guys.
It's planted.
Yes,
It's firmly in there.
You're losing.
Thank you for talking. I just got.
You're losing.
I just won though. I lost the battle. I won the war. I mean, here I am. Plus, with their handsome discount, the more you buy, the more you save. Go to dollarshaveclub.com today. And go to dollarshaveclub.com/Dan any day for a special
real
offer.
Pressure cooker situation.
It really
we
was.
Just emerged from.
At Levitard Show on Twitter. Do real G's move in silence?
That's what this show claimed today. We're reporting it, okay? Real G's move in silent.
91% of the audience said yes. Did Zion steal not just the ball, but also Kevin Knox's soul and future? 89% of the audience said yes. Can you win the NBA title with 3 TJs?
Ray Rotto, the longtime West Coast columnist, is saying, and I can't believe this is true, that the Indiana Pacers, their history has all of the TJs that have ever played in the NBA. 3 on the present roster and all of the TJs before that.
So he threw in TJ Ford like I did?
That's right.
82% of the audience said no. Does Chris Broussard have a monopoly on pie in the sky ideas? 81% of the audience said yes. Is Ohio the horniest state in America? 59% of the audience said no. It is, though. Did Yelich back out of the home run derby because he doesn't want anyone to see his arms?
This is a Chris Cody. This is a Chris Cody hypothesis.
87% of the audience said yes. Is anyone calling him Kawhi Anthony Leonard? 87% of the audience said no. Do you believe the story that Tom Brady is faster at 42 than he was at 22? 51% of the audience said yes. Could you figure out the NBA salary cap if you had 100 years?
Guillermo said of the Heat earlier, he legitimately said, just get it done, Ellisberg. Your job as general manager is to make me happy.
77% of the audience said no.
Just get it done. I want Westbrook.
We will talk to you mañana. This was the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Hey, my friend's retail store was the victim of IoT password theft.
Yep. Cyber criminals are taking over security cameras, payment systems, and other IoT devices by exploiting vulnerabilities.
What if they target us and our dispersed network?
We're secured with Barracuda. We have advanced firewalls for our sites, enhanced security for our cloud infrastructure, and total email protection.
Such a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Stugotz here. Casper was created to deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. This 4th of July, transform your sleep and experience Casper. The Casper mattress combines 4 layers of pressure-relieving foams for all-night comfort, plus breathable foams help you keep cool all summer long. July 4th may be over, but Casper has extended its sale. Celebrate with 10% off any purchase with a mattress today through July 8th, 2019 by going to Casper.com right now. That's Casper.com. Additional terms and conditions apply. See Casper.com/terms.
This is halftime.
Former Arkansas quarterback Matt Jones.
Why number 9?
Take you back. So I was number 5, Jalen Rose, Fad 5. That was my guy. He was my favorite player as far as basketball player growing up. Charlie Ward was one of my favorites, but he wore 17. I always liked single digits. I was number 5. And then you get up there, and it's funny. It's little things like that. Gerald Howard was number 5. Dow Loggins was number 9. They gave me 13 because there were no single digit numbers. And one of the things was when Coach Nutt finally convinced me my freshman year to take off my red shirt after a couple games. I said, Coach, I got to have a single digit. I can't go up there, all those wide numbers up there on me. I got to have. And so Dow Loggins, who was 9, actually switched with me, and that's why he got me the single digit I wanted.
How about that?
Right.
There's a good story behind that.
Every weekday from 12 to 2, only on ESPN 95.3.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Sometimes a weak heart can give you strength you never knew you had.
When I first found out I had the heart condition, one of the first things that went through my mind was, I'm going to die young.
After overcoming a heart condition that kept her from pursuing her passions, the heart team at Baptist Health helped her prove you don't have to be invincible to be incredible.
I never think anymore about what I can't do.
Keep on inspiring. Keep on striving. Keep on amazing. To schedule an appointment with a physician, call 1-888-BAPTIST.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
If you run your own business, when you're not on the job, you're on the road, in your van. Signs that say detour and do not enter are just plain bad for business. Well, here's a sign that's great for business. It says 0% financing and up to 2 years complimentary scheduled maintenance on Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or Metris vans. Powerful, capable, and affordable. That's Mercedes-Benz Van Power. With pioneering safety technologies and low total cost of ownership, Mercedes-Benz vans are the right choice for your business. Check out the full lineup of Mercedes-Benz vans starting at just $25,995. 0% financing and up to 2 years complimentary scheduled maintenance. That's van power for all. Mercedes-Benz vans, born to run.
Starting at price refers to base model Metris worker cargo van. Excludes all options, taxes, title registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Please see your dealer or go to mvvans.com for further details and exclusions.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Keeping the chance of showers and storms into the picture for today. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid to upper 80s. Just a very slim chance of a shower or storm tonight. And overnight low will drop down into the low to mid 70s. And isolated showers or storms for Tuesday. Our high low to mid 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 54 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
What were you doing there?
Communicating. Keeping up foreign relations. Giving him the bird. The finger.
Yes, I know the finger, Goose.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, good to be back and good to be around for, an entire week of radio here as holiday season is finally coming to an end after a couple of days off, Thursday and Friday. A chance for maybe some of our listeners to travel around, and maybe you're still traveling around right now. But you had your 2 days off. Some people only had the 1 day off on Thursday. Some people don't have anything. But you don't have one of those official bank holidays. That was the way I used it. Tommy Kraft told me the other day, Ty, that I used that in a demeaning way. I didn't even mean to. Referring to bankers' holidays, the days that the banks are closed. I wasn't even talking about bankers' hours. But I guess the next one is Labor Day. So here it's been a while since you and I have been together for a 5-day week.
Too long, man.
It has been a long time. I was gone for 4 days for a trip after the College World Series run by Arkansas ended. And you were gone for Wednesday last week on your jaunt back to the one-year hometown of Nashville. And it's good to see that you got back safe and sound and all in one piece and have most of your wits about you. So here we are, and Rushmore season continues really for just another week or so. And that's because next week is SEC Media Days. That's really amazing when you think about it. The football season is right upon us. What was the countdown I heard before we got on the air? You have the countdown to the top of the hour. 54
days.
That's what I thought it was. 54 days until Arkansas plays. The season, actually, the real first game, of course, is, August 24th, Miami and Florida. So that would be 47 days really from the start of college football season. So it is upon us. There's lots to get to. We'll have a couple of in-depth conversations about college football, including one coming up in just a moment. The weekend's big story, of course, the World Cup championship for the U.S. women's national team. A thrilling game. I even got my kids to Tye got my kids to sit. We went to War Memorial Stadium for the first half. The stadium opened up for anybody who wanted to come on the field and watch under 90-degree heat. I mean, it really wasn't all that comfortable. We still had an umbrella. We had water. We had ice. We were still gone at halftime because it just wasn't a very comfortable place to go. The kids sat through it. They would have continued to sit through it if I forced them to there at the stadium in the heat. But we went back. Yeah, we went back. That's what it would have been. I mean, because the complaining just kept coming. And who wants to hear that? Especially when you're trying to focus on a game. So we got back to the apartment. We all watched it, and I got to be honest. In order for me to get my two kids who have the attention spans sometimes of houseflies to focus on anything, for even an hour, is pretty impressive. They were focused on watching that match, a thrilling 2-0 win for the Americans, winning their third World Cup and second in a row. So that was outstanding. And and you're a soccer guy, Tye. You and I have talked soccer a little bit. I think you were talking about the Gold Cup over the weekend, and I just feel like soccer now, at least for the next couple of years, it just kind of falls back into the wayside a little bit. It's the sort of thing you get excited about, every 4 years with the women's team. I think, of course, the men didn't make the last World Cup in Russia. Maybe you look at it a little bit during the Olympics, but it's pretty much one of those events that it turns into a big deal for a few weeks, and then it kind of recedes into the background.
Yeah, not many people are going to discuss this on Sports Talk Radio in the next week. Maybe by the end of this week, the conversation will be over. But at this point in time, coming off a World Cup championship on Monday, you got to touch on it a little bit with the way that Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, and the girls played and were able to achieve the fourth United States World Cup win. I mean, it's just incredible. And I think the only way that you can put this in perspective is to compare them to the men's national team, which, as you mentioned, did not qualify for the last men's World Cup, which is just pathetic. You should have been ashamed as a member of as a citizen of the United States that was occurred and it didn't happen. And I was really bummed. And I was talking to Tommy about this. I don't watch as much soccer as I used to because I don't have as much time. I'm more focused on SEC football, basketball, baseball, and stuff pertaining to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Heck, you're in the radio station from about 3 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. I mean, you got time to do that, to sleep and eat some chicken wings and pizza. That's about it.
And try and work out, which sometimes doesn't work it just doesn't work into the schedule. But yeah, I think with just what happens is when you're young, Phil, in this country, you typically some kids gravitate towards soccer, but it's more, and I know the concussion stuff and the CTE with football has parents worried and not playing football at an early age as much, but I feel like more often than not, young kids are playing baseball, football, and basketball at an early age, and it's not as much soccer. And when you have these other countries, they touch a soccer ball at an early age, and that's why the men haven't been successful compared to the women over here. I think more women, because there isn't a football comparison. The women's side of things, you have more women starting out playing soccer at an early age, thus giving them an advantage to the other. But at the same time, like, it shouldn't be this drastic of a comparison. The men should be better than they are. And there's a kid named Christian Pulisic who's people are saying the best United Soccer States player ever. And the kid's less than 23 years old. He's absolutely phenomenal. And it's just a bummer that the men don't have as much success. But you got to give all credit to this squad with just the dominance. They weren't down the entire World Cup. Let's reiterate that. Not the entire World Cup.
What did they outscore opponents like 26-3?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was a 15-0 lopsided game against Thailand, but still, to outscore 25-3. Really, what I think they've done, and we could put it in a college football context, in a sense here. The United States is usually what Alabama is going into the World Cup, right? When it comes to women's soccer, they go in as the favorites, expected to win. I mean, there's been a little bit of a feel because the Women's World Cup has been around since, 1991? I think there's been, there's about 60 years more of men's World Cups than the Women's World Cups, and it just seems like the rest of the world was a little slow to get on to the women's soccer caravan that the United States jumped on quickly with the first World Cup championship, and now the rest of the world is starting to you would expect the European teams, the European countries to be able to put really good teams out there on the field. Maybe you saw that now with France and England and the Netherlands, but all fell to the United States. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of World Cups, one of those European teams probably jumps up and bites the United States, because it just seems like soccer means more there than it does here by far.
Oh, absolutely. It's not close.
So I just think you would expect that. But really, I mean, it's like Alabama going into a football season where they're expected to win every game, and they do just that. And at the same time, we can get into some of this stuff later on in the second hour. They were pretty outspoken about some things, and that engendered a lot of criticism. It engendered a lot of positive, I think, spotlight towards the team as well for taking stands on certain things. But they really did put themselves out there, And when you're a professional soccer player in this country, you really if you're going to take a stand on something, you really only get every 4 years to do that. It's not that you can't do it during the professional season because nobody's really paying that much attention. So it was really amazing to watch them be able to put that together under that spotlight and the criticism and the expectations. So congratulations to them. And I'll be honest here. I mean, I won't be paying very much attention to women's soccer or men's U.S. soccer in the next 2 years. It's just nothing that's been on my radar very much. But when the World Cup happens, when the United States wins a world championship in the most popular sport in the world, I'll be watching and I'll be paying attention to it, and I'll be talking about it a little bit too.
I got to be honest, man. I was driving back from Memphis on Sunday, so I did not watch the game. I watched the highlights after, but I did not watch the game. I did watch the Gold Cup match between Mexico and the United States last night, where the United States failed 1-0, but I did not watch the game. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't get, but it didn't work out for my schedule. I had 2 shows to prepare for today, so I wanted to make sure I got back to Fort Smith with plenty of time to do that. But yeah, it's a cool moment, man. And this is something you hope that the United States men can get to at a certain point, but the women are so far ahead that it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And you mentioned kind of how they were polarizing, and a lot of positives came out of their wins and just kind of them being out there. And then I think there's some negatives as well. The flag getting tossed to the ground, and listen, Phil, Tommy and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. I think it was it the Pats that some of the players weren't going to the White House. I don't have a problem with someone choosing not to go or to go to the White House. That is completely up to them. That is a personal decision, and I completely understand it. Personally, for me, I don't care who's president, and I would consider myself more moderate than anything. That I would go to the White House if the most leftist president was up there. It's just the White House. Like that is an experience you never get to do. But I wasn't a huge fan when Pino was like, I'm not going to the bleeping White House. Like, just to come off of that. There's ways to go about it. There's ways where you don't have to be as demonstrative about it, even if you don't agree with who's in office. And this is regardless. Like when Brady didn't go to the White House when Barack Obama was president, I don't remember. Now I could be wrong. I don't remember him stating in a public forum like, I'm not going to bleeping White House or something like that. I just think there's ways to go about whether or not you disagree with a certain administration. And I don't know if they handle that accordingly because I didn't feel good about that. Maybe I'm a little a little too not emotional, but like a little I'm feeding into that too much. I was taken aback when I saw that for the first time.
You know, I was reading some stuff last night in preparing for one of our guests later on. We've got Sam Smith, the legendary basketball writer, long time at the Chicago Tribune, and has now been writing for Bulls.com. For the last 8 years or so. Mm-hmm. We'll talk to him about Daniel Gafford and a lot else in the second hour. I'm really excited to have him on because I think anybody of my age remembers the Jordan Rules, which he wrote. I think it came out in 1992 or 3. It was about Jordan's first championship season with the Bulls. And I didn't realize that he did not go to the White House the first year that the Bulls won the NBA Finals. And he was quoted as saying, I didn't vote for that bleeping guy. He's talking about George H.W. Bush.
I'm going to be honest. I've read all 3 of his books, and I do not remember that. But that's wild.
I didn't either, and really because I usually associated Jordan with the quote Republicans buy sneakers too. Yeah, right. I mean, he was just about the merchandise. So I found that shocking just in reading it last night.
He tried to tote the line as much as he could, not be polarizing, and not say something up and down that would tick off either side, because there's athletes out there that have no problem voicing their opinion, whether right or left, and that's fine. And again, this is a personal opinion. Some guys like to keep, and girls as well, like to keep it close to the chest. Others are a little more outspoken in how they approve or disapprove of the current administration, regardless if it's past or present. So I'm going to be honest, until you just said that, I didn't know that, because like you said, the biggest political quote from Michael Jordan is Republicans buy sneakers too. Mm-hmm. And so I would think that doesn't really fit his MO, but I mean, it was quoted saying that's pretty wild, man.
Well, in today's day and age, when it comes to, getting your opinion out there, and I think, brashness sometimes gets an opinion out. And I think Megan Rapinoe was being just exactly who she's always been. As I read about her career recently, I mean, it's just the spotlight was thrown on her at a certain moment, and I think it's in a brilliant way. If you're going to be yourself, you're going to try to make a point. That's the time to do it. And I can understand her argument. And even, I mean, people get angry both ways right now, and so. That happens to be the way that you end up talking about it.
And we don't necessarily agree politically. We have certain issues that we're against each other on. We're never yelling at each other about anything. If we're going to argue about something, we'll do it pretty clean cut and we'll be honest with each other about. But I'm not a huge fan when people act like this is just a one-sided thing, that like one side, either the political left or the political right. I feel like we're talking more politics in the last 15 minutes than we have the entirety of this program's inception. But I think it's one of those things where athletes of both political agendas who side with either or, they say stuff that probably shouldn't be said, or stuff that they probably could say a little more kindly or a little more politely. And I'm not a huge fan of when people just think, oh, it's only this side of the group that does that. Oh, it's only this side. No, they both do it. So, yeah. That's what I'd say about that.
Well, and it's not over. I mean, sooner, I don't know if there'll be an invitation extended. I guess that's what everybody's waiting to find out.
President Trump congratulating him on Twitter after the win. I'm assuming there'll be an invitation. I don't know how many the players will actually go, which is, again, that's their right that they choose. Like I said, if I got invited to the White House, regardless of who's in office, I'm going. But it's completely up to your personal decision.
I don't know if I'd go because I'm not sure if I want cheeseburgers and French fries and pizza.
That's right up my alley. So if that was,
it's exactly right up your alley. I know you'd be the first one in line. You'd be the absolute first one in line. Or you heard us say, and we've got Sam Smith coming on in the second hour right at 1 o'clock, in fact, to talk some NBA basketball. And I mean, I saw where Daniel Gafford had himself a couple of pretty good games, and they're calling this NBA debuts. These aren't NBA debuts.
Yeah.
This is summer league basketball. This is a completely different thing. I mean, you're playing against some guys that might be in the league, sometimes during the season, but it's not an NBA roster necessarily that you're performing against, nor is it an NBA game. But it is professional, So, I mean, you're getting paid to do it. So it's a professional debut of some sort, I guess is the right way to put it. We also have Connor O'Gara coming on hour number 2. Connor, of course, from Saturday Down South. This is a guy that football season never ends for him. He put out a great list because, you do a lot of lists these days. 50 things he thinks going into the college football season the week before SEC Media Days, and got a couple of things we want to get to on that. In addition to our show and in addition to our entire radio station here on ESPN Arkansas, debuted this morning during the morning rush. The phone number you can dial to get in on the show using your voice. That's 877-377-6963. But you can also text, and you can use just your fingers at that very same number. So we've got a text line as well, and we can. I guess we have to have a screener, just like you got a phone screener for phone calls. You're going to need a text screener for texts. Tye Richardson is your man for both of them.
Yeah.
877-377-6963.
So you're welcome to send something that's not going to get read on air. I'll see it, but that, again, I can't read certain things on air, so that doesn't mean that. But we got the dashboard in front. Phil and I will have that in front of us. It's just another feature that we're trying to get communication with you all, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, texting, calling, or just trying to get to you in a number of different ways. So get on the conversation.
So that also means that we kind of have a wide open first hour because we usually have a guest at 12:35, but we've pushed the 2 guests during the second hour. So if you want to get in with us, now's the time to do it. Again, that's 877-377-6963. Want to go to a break in a moment. Before we do, introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. You get your choice of the double cheeseburger or the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, it's the Hardee's Classic. Double the beef, triple the options. That's Hardee's because it tastes better. Come back after the break. It's halftime on a Monday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime with Bill Elson and Tye Richardson. This is the Morning Rush.
The bigger the deal the Director's Cup is to your AD, the more you suck in football. That's just how it is. Greg Byrne is the AD at Alabama, is that right?
Yes.
You think he cares about the Director's Cup? He may say he does to keep people happy publicly. You think they got a trophy case down there for Director's Cup? Nope. Trophy? Nope. Bet they don't.
How much extra money did they make off the Director's Cup?
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Looking for a high-quality and affordable vehicle? Hertz Car Sales offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks. Amazing customer services with affordable prices on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome, so stop by to Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Built as user-friendly as it is budget-friendly, the Kubota Z100 zero-turn mower cuts a lawn worth admiring. With smooth controls and a rugged deck, this machine makes mowing way more comfortable. For a limited time, you can get a Z100 mower for as low as $83 a month. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
What's your next obsession? If it's diving lessons, Ocean Impact Dive Shop, Western Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma's premier dive shop is waiting on you. Ocean Impact is a full-service 5-star PADI dive shop offering air fills and tank inspections. The staff can answer all your questions and get you started on your underwater adventure. Ocean Impact Dive Shop, 2127 South 56th Street, Fort Smith. Don't wait, summer's just around the corner. Get to Ocean Impact Dive Shop. Go get your dive on. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction is here to assist in the rebuilding of our community during this historical time in the River Valley and surrounding areas. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction does quality workmanship from complete roofing, siding, gutters, inside your home remodeling, plus all your construction needs. Give them a call today for a free estimate. 479-434-4455. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction, licensed, insured, and bonded. Check us on the web at adamsroofingandconstruction.com. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction, here for our community.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Jones slowly throws back to the end zone. Touchdown! Stephen Harris. There were two wideouts going across the back line, and he was on that edge right in the corner, and he pulls it down.
Welcome back on Halftime on a Monday. I know this was something you guys were getting into in the morning show, and I heard Tommy and John talking about it last week. Pat Smith, the co-creator of the Paul Feinbaum Show, and a guy who knows his college football, pointed to the 2012 season as when Texas A&M and Missouri joined the SEC. From that year up until right now, Arkansas has the worst conference record in the SEC in football, and it isn't even close. 13-43 record. Tennessee and Kentucky have the second fewest amount of wins, tied at 17. Of course, you got Alabama 51-5, Georgia at 41-15. And I wonder about this because Texas A&M joining the same division as Arkansas and being in that fertile recruiting base that Arkansas has needed for so long and really didn't do very well as far as under Brett Bielema and are now building it back up under Chad Morris. It kind of coincides also with the downfall of the program after Bobby Petrino's firing, the hiring of Brett Bielema, who brought in a system that didn't work, quite obviously didn't work. And I wonder if you undersell even a little bit the idea of it's the same year Missouri joined the SEC. I know Arkansas doesn't have a win against Texas A&M in that time, but it's not like they've been stomping the Missouri Tigers either. They're 1-4 against Mizzou.
Yeah, and you think about what Eric Beazell said down at SEC Media Days when he was making fun of Arkansas and just all the things that have gone into it with the Arkansas fans not really treating Missouri as a rival. Well, the fact is Missouri's kicked your ass. You've only won one game, as you just referenced, Phil. You should be embarrassed about that. Like that. The fact is that you're like, oh, they're not a rival, but heck, they keep kicking your tail every time you play them. That's not a good look there. And then I think the biggest, Missouri, that's not a team you should be losing to. I don't think, and I'm curious to see what the collective, just college football, thinks about that. But the Texas A&M is the most interesting, Bill. And the reason I reference that is because Greg McElroy, about a year ago, back in 2018, went on Bo's show, back when Bo had a radio show, and was talking to him about the advantages of the Arkansas, just being in the SEC without Texas A&M. This clip's about a minute long, but I want to play it its entirety because I think what he said is important about what happened to Arkansas when A&M was added to the SEC.
I've felt this way for a while since Texas A&M got in the league. The Arkansas job is the toughest in the SEC and among the toughest in the Power Five. I really believe that because Arkansas used to have a ticket to all the players in the state of Texas, and not even just players, too, just students. Students that wanted a Southeastern Conference experience could go from Texas or the Dallas-Fort Worth area to Arkansas and pay in-state tuition and have that SEC experience. Like, all my friends are Arkansas fans, every single one of them. So it's been a challenge since Texas A&M got in the league, because now kids can say, well, I'll just stay in state and I'll have that same experience, and I'll get to play for a state school that I'm proud of, and I'll be able to contend, hopefully, for in the nicest facilities in college football for an SEC championship someday. So I think that A&M made the Arkansas job exponentially more difficult. And the only thing that's making it somewhat manageable is the fact that Arkansas fans are going to be patient with Chad Morris more than likely.
So the Dallas area feels about 4.5 to 5 hours to Fayetteville. The next closest school, if we're not including College Station, was about 2.5-ish to Dallas to College Station. Is LSU, about 6.5. Like, there was a geographical advantage that Arkansas had recruiting Texas. And I know the main factor isn't always kids playing close to home, but that's at least a slight advantage Arkansas had when they were not in the SEC, or when Texas A&M was not in the SEC. And I think you have to couple that with the fact that Bielema damaged so many relationships within Texas high schools, saying, if you don't play without a fullback, we'll kick your ass. Like, when Cliff Kingsbury referenced that after they beat Arkansas in Fayetteville, that really resonated with a lot of people after Bielema's tenure expired, because you realize how little he recruited the state of Texas. Phil, 8 of the 11 recruits in this 2020 class are from Texas. Now, it's not the best. It's like 36 right now. Hopefully that gets better. But Morris is hitting that sucker head on, him and Traylor and those boys, like 8 of 11. That's an incredible amount. That's more than 75% of your recruits right now. I mean, that is huge. That is a huge Arkansas. And as much as fan hates this, Phil, I'll undo this and let you go. Arkansas football cannot be good without Texas recruits, and that's painful to say, but it's stinking true.
But it's just true.
It's true.
I mean, look, Texas A&M hasn't been great shakes since they joined the SEC either. I mean, they've been just north of sort of mediocre, during that time. The Aggies are 30-26 in SEC games since 2012. And, they've had one really great year during that time. That was their first year in the SEC. They went 11-2 and went to the Cotton Bowl and haven't had more than 9 wins since. And they've had 3 seasons with 8 victories, 1 season with 7. I put it more on Bielema's on the fact that he pissed off Texas and he couldn't recruit the state. I put it exactly like you're talking about. Yeah. I think it has more to do with the lack of recruiting from the Lone Star State. I mean, and also, look, I mean, you've had some pretty heartbreaking losses to Texas A&M during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no need, to get into all of those.
Yeah, don't have to rehash those.
Yeah, I don't want to make you, sob openly on the air. But, that's the thing about, Texas A&M. We're pointing to Texas A&M as the moment that they joined. Missouri has been, just a little bit worse than Texas A&M has. And I just keep hearing, like, what McElroy is saying about Texas A&M, about the resources, about the fan base and the traditions and the facilities. And it's all the things you hear about every other school in the SEC over and over and over again. But we keep hearing that Texas A&M is going to be the next big thing because of Jimbo Fisher now, or before Jimbo Fisher because of the facilities, because of the fertile recruiting base supposedly, and now being in the SEC. And it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. As Texas A&M has plateaued, and they're not going to get any better this year. They've got the toughest schedule in the game. They have the most ridiculous schedule in all of college football. I mean, they get Clemson at Clemson. They get, of course, they got to play everybody in the SEC West, which is tough enough.
They get Georgia this year.
They get Georgia in Athens.
At LSU.
It's a pretty ridiculous schedule.
Yeah.
They're not going to get any better this year. I think 9 wins would be a monumental achievement.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think Connor O'Gara's on that same line of thinking because I was reading his stuff on that. But, I mean, and the stat, okay, I think you were gone. Yeah, you were gone this past week. This was an Andy Hodges and I conversation. David Hale, formerly of ESPN, put out the statistic that Arkansas has the most blown fourth quarter losses since 2012. 16 of those suckers. You know what
Oh, boy.
You know what they went under Bielema when leading at the fourth quarter? You know what their record was? 10-13.
That's pretty bad.
How
Wow.
depressed? Like when you hear that stat for the first time, how depressed? How are you not depressed as an Arkansas football fan?
Now, I know a few of those losses were against A&M,
Yeah.
but those fourth quarter losses are not because Texas A&M is in the SEC.
Yeah, and you just couple that, and then you flip it around. I think Michael from Bentonville brought it up on the Morning Rush. If you had won those games, your record wouldn't be as bad as you wouldn't be looking at the record and be like, wow, that's just disgusting. I cannot believe that this team is like where they are in the SEC. It's 13-42, I think, since 2012 was the statistics that Pat Smith put up. Phil, they would be 29-27 if they had won those games. 29-27. Now, you don't expect to win every single game you're up in the fourth quarter, but you sure as heck expect to win more than 500, which they were less than 500. That is embarrassing. And Brett, I mean, I don't know how that doesn't haunt Brett Bielema to this day. The fact that his teams were up 23 times in his tenure, and they found a way to lose 13 of those games. 13.
I don't know if it translates to the NFL, but, good luck holding leads in the fourth quarter as the defensive coordinator, albeit, under Bill Belichick. So it's a different thing. I think he's built for exactly what he's going to be doing in New England this year.
I mean, it's just there's just so many things you can point to, and we're talking about A&M getting some of those kids that just wanted to play in the SEC, and they're also getting to play in Texas. You got to think about that too, Phil. Like Norman's got advantages because it's pretty close, but you think about just being able to tell parents, hey, your kid's going to play in Texas, 8-9 times a year? Like that is, I think it's 8. So that's like an incredible thing that a pitch that Jimbo and his guys can tell recruits is like, hey, your family, they live in the state of Texas. College Station ain't too far from wherever they live, Austin, like wherever they're at. And like, hey, you can make the trip over to College Station. That is an incredible tool. And the fact that they're not sticking up the Big 12 flag in Kyle Field. They're sticking up that SEC flag. That was a huge recruiting tool that Arkansas had that is no longer the case. And like dudes want to play in the SEC. There's a reason that the most draft picks are from the SEC. That it's just that way every single year. It is the premier conference in college football, and that makes it that much tougher when you're in a rut like Arkansas is to get out of that hole, because it's not like that record's going to be above 500 anytime soon in the SEC based on how much of a hole it's like a crater, man. It is so deep. That crevice is so deep. It's a trench, whatever type of hole you want to reference. That's where Arkansas's at right now, and it's going to take way more than a couple years to dig out.
It's going to be a little bit better this next year. Maybe a little bit better. It will be better if you're looking for a car and you go to Road Chevrolet. That's a name you've been trusting for over 80 years. Road Chevrolet, always dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. From the first time you walk into their showroom, you'll notice that you're treated like family. That's part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has been serving the River Valley for over 8 decades. Your next dependable vehicle right now is at Road Chevrolet at 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren or at roadchevy.com. Road Chevrolet, dependable since 1934. We've moved our 3 Up, 3 Down segment to the next one, so stick around on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
You spend a lot of time worrying about your family, so you shouldn't have to worry about your tires. Protect what matters to you with Michelin tires and experience a clever combination of confidence and performance. This summer, drive away with extra savings too. Between June 12th and July 11th, get a $70 reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger and light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. See MichelinMan.com/promo for complete offer details. Offer expires 7/11/2019. Void where prohibited.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Sit comfortably on your patio or the sidelines in a Four Seasons Courtyard Extra Large Zero Gravity Chair from Metters Lumber True Value for only $49.99. This extra large chair with a sturdy steel frame and sling fabric features double bungee cord stability and a ring lock mechanism for easy recline. It even has a detachable tray for drinks. Choose from red, gray, blue, or tan. Add a matching folding side table for only $14.99. It features a fabric top with cup holder. Pick up these bargains of the month today while supplies last at Metters Lumber True Value.
They don't build cars like they used to, and they don't repair them like they used to either. Today's vehicles contain advanced lightweight materials and safety features like crumple zones and airbags that help protect your family. Repairing them properly after a collision requires up-to-date training. Evans Body Shop has it. We're among only 10% of shops to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold-class business. When you pick a collision repair shop, make the smart choice for your family's safety. Choose gold-class trained repair professionals.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Fresh means fresh, as in no preservatives. That's right. If it's fresh, it doesn't need to be preserved. Try Jim's 100% premium Wisconsin cheese. Fresh whole milk mozzarella, wood smoked provolone, old world style Romano and Parmesan. The freshest all-you-can-eat salad bar in town. No preservatives and fresh every time.
Fresh, fast, Jim's Razorback Pizza.
At the corner of Greenwood and Gary in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Whaley. Wow. Walks into the end zone. And I mean walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Razorbacks.
Welcome back to Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We usually do 3 up, 3 down in the second hour, but since we got Sam Smith of Bulls.com joining us then, we're moving it to now. 3 up, 3 down. Strike three. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning, strike 3.
So here's some fun. There's a summer wooden bat league, a college summer league team in Portland, Oregon, that completely redid the rules of baseball for one game. They called it Future Night. They played the team from Corvallis, Oregon. This team, by the way, is called the Portland Pickles. And they're made up of real college baseball players, even some names that I remember watching a few times. So they did Future Night. It was on July 4th, and get a load of some of these rules. I watched some video of this. They actually played with these rules. There was a yellow bonus ball. The bonus ball is good for only one pitch. You can use it twice an inning, and the bonus ball means a strike is an immediate out, a ball is an immediate walk, and any base hit counts double the value. So on the bonus ball, you hit a single, you get a double. You hit a triple, you get a home run plus a double. I don't even know how you do that, but that's what they did. Others, 7 bonus balls per game, 2 can use per inning. Also, teams were only allowed to use 8 players in the field. So instead of 9 fielders, they had 8. They could put them anywhere, and each team had 2 designated hitters. They had a 15-second pitch clock. The game tie was 7 innings. And if the game was tied at the end of 7, home run derby to decide the winner. And the rules are determined on the spot, right at that moment, before the game-winning home run derby sudden death tournament begins. You decide the rules on spot. Plus, a bunt base hit is an automatic double. Any foul ball on a bunt is an automatic out. And this is a baseball game Tye, that had a halftime. It took place during the middle of the 4th inning. They called it an extended 4th inning stretch or halftime. They had a 15-minute halftime break and halftime fireworks. Okay? There's even more. This is the craziest one. Every odd inning, so first innings, 3rd inning, 5th inning, 7th inning, 9th inning, batters are allowed to, when they hit the ball, run the bases backwards run third base to second base to first base and then home. And if there are runners on base at that time, they've got to see the hitter do this and then respond in kind. That was the video I saw of a batter hitting the ball, running to first base, then all of a sudden deciding he wants to run it in the other direction, so he stops before he gets to first base, runs back to the plate, and then makes a right turn and goes to third base, which is actually not supposed to be the rules. I think he's supposed to just hit the ball and run to third base.
Yeah.
I want to broadcast a game involving Portland Pickles futures rules because I will be so utterly confused. It'll be that much more fun.
Or it's just a nut house, and you're, as a broadcaster, you don't know left from right, heads from tails. Like it's just a crazy mess out there. Yeah, that's at least a bucket list. Obviously, you don't want to do that every single game because you get annoyed with all these crazy things. But it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I want to give it a whirl. Let me see if I can do this once, and then you kind of keep it as a keepsake and stash it away and never do it again.
First down is this comes from a tweet that I saw from Connor O'Garo, and I'll bring this up to him later on. He had seen where Georgia and Ohio State had a home-and-home series that they canceled way back in 2012. This home-and-home series was supposed to be for 2020 and 2021. Ty, we missed out on a Justin Fields transfer bowl, and what a bummer that is. That could have been something else. Ohio State instead has a home-and-home with Oregon. Georgia in 2020 is Virginia and ULM. 2021 San Jose State and UAB. Those games are nowhere near as interesting as it would have been with Ohio State versus Georgia, so that's my first down.
All right, first up for me, so we're in Nashville this weekend, me and some friends of the program, and we're on this rooftop. I think it was Kid Rock's rooftop. And by the way, for those who don't know, country artists, like a bunch of them, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, all these guys, they have bars with rooftops, and that's just a thing. It's like you build a honky-tonk if you're a country star that lives in Nashville, and so a lot of these guys have it. So we're up there, and I see this guy that's got I think a slobber hog hat on it. So we pass by him, it's just like, hey, man, woo pig, and he replies, woo pig. So we see him go over to his table with his family. He proceeds to go up to the bar, Phil, and then come back with a bucket of some cold ones for us, and he's like, y'all have a good rest of your weekend. He just gives them to us. And I'm like, and
you paid it forward.
And, yeah, exactly. We're all looking at each other. It's like, that's the man that we want to grow up in 20 years to be. Just like the guy that sees the younger generation of Arkansans, Arkansas fans, whatever category you want to put us in, and buys them beer or food or whatever it may be, wherever you're at the time. It's like, that's what we want to be. So I just want to give that. I don't even know that guy's name because he just gave it to us and then walked off. We didn't really.
I mean, let's be honest here. Free beer or food for you coming from a guy wearing a Texas Longhorns jacket, belt buckle, and a 10-gallon hat. You'd be happy with that too.
Yeah, if a guy came out and said horns up and he gave us beer or food, I would probably still accept it with open arms, just because that's my personality. That's who I am. But I thought that was a really cool moment. That just shows Hog Nation is not just in the state of Arkansas, but throughout this great country and even throughout the world, because I know that there's different people that have gone other places and be like, oh, you're a Razorback, blah, blah, blah. And I just think that's cool. The one bad thing that I took away from this weekend, though, Phil, is I didn't eat any hot chicken. You know how much I enjoy food, but the whole weekend, Nashville staple is hot chicken. That's what you eat when you're down there. And for whatever reason, we never ventured out into a hot chicken shack or a hot chicken place. And there's a bunch of them, Prince's, Hattie B's, and on, but we didn't make it out there. So I'm a little disappointed in myself. This is a personal problem that I only have myself to blame, that I wasn't boisterous enough by saying we need to go get some stinking hot chicken. Didn't do that the whole weekend, so that's my first down.
All right, here is my second up. Got a little audio for it.
Here comes the pitch. Swinging a drive into deep left center. That ball's headed for the wall. It is gone. It's gone. The Aces win. Cody Decker with a game-winning two-run home run. And the Aces have walked off Sacramento.
That's from AAA Reno that beats Sacramento this past weekend on the walk-off homer by a real-life Crash Davis. Ty, his name is Cody Decker. He's from Los Angeles, played 4 years at UCLA. I saw him in the Texas League with the San Antonio Missions. Cody Decker hit his 204th career home run in his 1,032nd career minor league game.
You weren't kidding about the Crash Davis comparison.
Well, to win this game and promptly retired. That was his last professional swing. The guy's got a flair for the dramatic. He went to USC film school as a graduate degree. He's made some movies. He's got a really great personality. You can see on Twitter. He's at Cody Decker. He calls himself the anti-hero. He's really entertaining. To prove the Crash Davisness for him, so he played the 1,032 minor league games, 260 career average, 204 home runs. He played 8 major league games. 8. San Diego, 2015, 0-for-11, 0 hits, 5 strikeouts. That's his major league line, and lots of fans that love him just because of his personality. And to have the ability to hit a walk-off homer and say that's it, I'm done. I absolutely loved it, and it's just a flair for the dramatic. Good for you, Cody Decker. So my second down, it goes to the pay disparity here with women's soccer. It's time to pay the United States women's soccer team at least exactly what the men's soccer team is getting. And I'm not talking about money generated by the World Cup itself, because the men's World Cup generates exponentially more money than the women's World Cup. But the United States women's soccer team generates more money than the United States men's soccer team. $51 million generated by the women's team from 2016 through 2018. $50 million generated by the men's national team during the same time. This isn't a matter of the World Cup generating more money than the men's World Cup generating than the women's World Cup. The facts are right there in front of you. Women's soccer in the United States, for the U.S. women's national team, they bring in more money than the men. Pay them. That's what that's about. Go ahead.
All right, my second two, Kawhi Leonard choosing the Los Angeles Clippers, and it wasn't just because it balanced out really the NBA, because if he would have gone to the Lakers, they would have been the consensus favorite heading into next year with him, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. But you have two really good teams in Los Angeles now. It's kind of the talent's kind of spread out. Philly's got a pretty good squad. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo coming off his MVP season up in Milwaukee, and the Thunder weren't going to do anything with Paul George and Russell Westbrook. They were going to be a mediocre playoff team that was probably going to have a first round or semifinal exit, and that's just not good. I'm glad that they now get draft picks out of trading Paul George and are set up to rebuild. As a Thunder fan, I was pretty happy about that. Number two, Phil, don't have a burner account. I hope you don't. Just don't do it. So 24/7 Sports ranked the top 10 QBs in the Big Ten. Justin Fields was number 1. Shea Patterson was number 2. Shea did not take too kindly to that. He said on his Twitter, Patterson is going to be the best QB in the conference. Fields hasn't even played a snap yet, so that kid is overrated. Shea would have won the Heisman last year if he had let Harbaugh call out the plays. And like every athlete does in this situation, if you put something on social media, he says, that wasn't me, that was someone else, blah, blah, blah. I have a hard time believing that that wasn't him and it was just him not using his burner account and instead using his own personal. I can't 100% be accurate about that, but just don't have a burner account. It's not a good idea. It never turns out okay. So that's my second down.
Third up, did you see the Cincinnati Reds sleeveless jerseys over the weekend?
Did not.
And Yasiel Puig's biceps, they were, oh my gosh, you were talking about guns on display. Yasiel Puig, that is a scary-looking dude. And the Reds were wearing jerseys that they had worn back in the late 50s, so it wasn't a matter of future uniforms. They were throwing it back to the day when Ted Kluszewski had his pit hair out for everybody to see. Big clue. That's not halftime homework, by the way, Ty. Third down is that this guy had to take a weekend off.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center field. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Again. I mean, this, like Maltese Falcon, this is stuff that dreams are made out of. Gary is scary, and the Yankees take a 4-3 lead.
As John Sterling, he missed his first 3 games as the voice of the radio network of the New York Yankees in 30 years. It's because of an illness that he mentioned. He didn't say what it was, but he was ill and just couldn't do the games over the weekend. He had done nearly 5,000 straight games. Incredible. And he did take the weekend off. Also, Michael Kay, the Yankees TV voice, had vocal cord surgery and is expected to miss the entire month of July.
Jeez.
So Yankees broadcasters are my third down just because they are down, essentially. All right, we got to go to the break. We'll get Ty's third up and third down and wrap up the first hour of halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
For almost 70 years, Crabtree RV in Alma has been helping people in the River Valley get out and enjoy the great outdoors. And that tradition continues today with our brand new body shop, a first-class service department, and a friendly staff to help you choose from the top brands in the industry. So put away the devices and get out this summer to enjoy all that the natural state has to offer. With a little help from Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
At Frankrow Furniture, we have always been involved in supporting and giving back to our community. During the recent historic flooding, many people and their families have been affected, and we continue to keep you in our prayers here at Frankrow Furniture. We want to help by offering no sales tax, free delivery, and sell at discounted prices. We can also store your purchase until you're ready for delivery and setup. May God bless you, and God bless America. Frankrow Furniture, your Made in the USA headquarters. Best seats in the house.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
When the temperature starts heating up outside, it means summer is on its way. Let Pinnacle Telecom ease the heat with a brand new Name Your Speed promotion. That's right, switch your business to Pinnacle's fast fiber internet and name your internet speed. Any speed, and pay just $50 per month for internet the first 3 months. If you're under contract with the other guys, no problem. Pinnacle will honor this promotion when your term is up. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com. Offer ends soon, some restrictions apply.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Hey, Tye Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? Yep, they do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with a flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
60 is not that old, but when you're talking about a business, 60 proves you have the ability to keep your customers happy and change with the times. Guardtronic is celebrating their 60th year in business. Founded in 1959, Guardtronic has been securing homes all over the area for 60 years. Give them a call anytime. There's always someone there to get a free quote for securing your home. 785-2323 or guardtronic.com. Happy birthday, Guardtronic. License E050.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Takes it on the hop at the 9. He's got a seam. Then planted as he got out to the 28-yard line. Dallas Washington picked him up and crushed him.
Back on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Tye, I stepped on you for a moment there. We usually do 3 up, 3 down. You only did 2. What do you got for your third?
Dude, that's okay, man. We had to get through it. So my third up, and I don't know if you're going to be a fan of this one, Phil. Baker Mayfield hitched the wagon this weekend. He got married to Emily Wilkinson. Now,
good for him. No, I'm all for people, loving somebody else and putting a ring on a finger. Why not?
Yeah, so hopefully that'll calm him down. We'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that will calm Baker Mayfield down.
Heartbreaking news coming out of the Kentucky area. Jared Lorenzen, known to many as the Hefty Lefty, passed away. For the Razorback fans that Man, that name sounds familiar. He was a part of the 2003 7-overtime game that Arkansas and Kentucky faced to back in 2003. Talked to Brett Good about him on the Morning Rush. He talked about how he was just impossible to tackle. Now, Brett didn't play defense, but the different Arkansas defensemen that tried, it was tough. So you feel for his family and Kentucky Nation as they had to go through that this weekend.
Well, I think Lynn Lorenzen set the Kentucky record for passing yards in a career, a little over 10,000. Backed up Eli Manning in a Super Bowl victory and did pass away. All right, we'll come back second hour after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Enjoy happy hour 6 days a week at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Monday through Friday from 3 till 6 and all day on Saturday. Enjoy happy hour specials, including $1 off all drinks, and taquito nachos are only $4. Your choice of beef, bean, chicken, or cheese. Happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 and all day on Saturday at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 6 days a week, Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Have you been thinking about new windows or vinyl siding for your home? Then think Superior Siding and Windows. Superior Siding and Windows has been offering low-maintenance, energy-efficient products in the River Valley for over 40 years. Superior Siding and Windows also specializes in sunrooms, patio covers for carports, and much more. Call 646-7888 for a free in-home estimate. Superior Siding and Windows, 646-7888. Superior Siding and Windows. Look for us in the Yellow Pages and like us on Facebook.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
It's the Red, White, and Bluegrass Festival at Magic Springs, featuring a bluegrass jam session, games, contests, a corn maze, and live entertainment throughout the day. Plus, an unforgettable concert featuring Ricky Skaggs. Saturday, July 13th at Magic Springs in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The festival begins at 2 p.m. and the festival is free with your one-day admission or season pass. Get yours today at magicsprings.com or Kroger.
Sugat's here at Small Business Month, and Dell is celebrating innovators and job creators in a big way. Like up to 40% off business PCs big. Even a free 1 terabyte external hard drive with select purchases big. Call 877-BUY-DELL today to connect with a U.S.-based advisor. They are ready to help with tech solutions tailored to your business, like finding just the right Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, because your hard work is more than appreciated, it's admired. Call 877-BUY-DELL today.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Weather overnight, some clouds and a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm, 70 to 75. Monday, warm and humid, upper 80s to low 90s. Our heat index around 100. Scattered afternoon thunderstorms, partly sunny and low 90s Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 54 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
What were you doing there?
Communicating. Keeping up foreign relations. Giving him the bird. You know, the finger.
Yes, I know the finger, Goose.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Getting into the second hour on a Monday on Halftime. Welcome back into our studios. Phil Elson, Tye Richardson. This is usually when we do 3 up, 3 down. But sometimes you've got to make other plans and divert yourself away because you have a tremendous guest that is willing to give you a piece of his very valuable time. Got to come at a certain time, though, and there's, I guess, just a few people that you really would do something like that for. One of them is Sam Smith, who has been covering the NBA since, if I get the year right, I think 1978, initially with the Chicago Tribune, and since, I guess, the last 7-8 years with Bulls.com. Sam Smith, one of the all-time great not just basketball writers, but sports journalists, joining us right now on Halftime. Sam, thank you so much for coming on with us. How are you?
Well, I'm good, but I feel badly for messing up your regular schedule there.
No, we're able to do that. We can adjust our things very easily. You won't find two more easygoing people than myself and Tye. So we're happy to do that for you.
I'll try to count on that.
Okay, very, very good. So, I mean, you've been, you know the Bulls inside and out, probably better than anybody else, and have for a long time. And Arkansas fans, we've been paying attention to the Bulls now. I mean, you have the last two players drafted out of Arkansas basketball have gone right to the Bulls. And I mean, we know what happened now with Bobby Portis over to the Knicks after the Wizards and the trade from Chicago. Daniel Gafford is next. And if I'm judging on your Twitter feed, which by the way is a very fun read, I think you like what you've seen in these first less than handful of games in the Summer League from Daniel Gafford.
I have, and I don't admit I don't watch a lot of Arkansas basketball, and hadn't since Bobby left. He kind of swore it off since then, but no, he's been Gafford has been someone like a lot of us who watch the NBA full time, don't have a lot of opportunity to watch college basketball. So I frankly didn't really know anything much about Gafford when they drafted him. And I'm generally not that enthusiastic about second-round draft picks. You know, there's always somebody who'll slip through and say, well, Draymond Green, somebody who's sort of undersized at their position, who's making impact. So I wasn't, overly optimistic, but, watching Gafford just a couple of games, and we always have to do it's just, Summer League warning. But he obviously had a terrific first game with the 21 points because they played in transition a lot, and got out and ran the court, and obviously you guys know his game better than I do. But just watching him for a few games, you could see, playing in transition, running the court, very active, springy body. I really think he'll have a nice place with the Bulls and in the NBA. And you don't always know that with second round picks. A lot of them, will end up in the G League or not stick around long. But Gafford has that. Usually when we talk about skills, you think about shooting or passing. His skill it reminds me of Joakim Noah. It's energy, and that's a legitimate skill these days in the NBA. A guy who run up and down the court, be able to finish plays. He's not, and you saw with somebody like Joakim Noah, who's a little bit taller, but he kind of turned that into a defensive player of the year thing. I'm not actually saying, that's the Gafford, but you could see that he'll have a nice role and a nice spot in the NBA.
You hit on something, really the first thing everybody would talk about Daniel Gafford. He would usually either be athleticism or the motor is the term that we always heard about Gafford. And, you can work on skills. You can work on shooting. You can work on rebounding and positioning yourself and learning the offense and everything else. I wonder about if you can learn to have a motor, to have that energy that you're talking about from Gafford or from a Joakim Noah. That to me just seems like something that's inherent or not there in a player.
You would say that it should be, and guys like him, and of course he's just starting out. But it's a great lesson for anybody playing anybody, frankly, in any business or employment job opportunity, but especially in sports, and players like that, people like that, are a great model. Like, sort of reminds me of a guy like Patrick Beverley, now with the Clippers, who has carved out this career. He's, plays point guard, but he really doesn't pass the ball much. He's not a particularly great shooter. There's none of those things that you look at in the NBA that scouts look at and say, well, that projects to play in the NBA. But he's become, a high-level starter who just signed, I think, $15 or $16 million three-year contract, and with what looks like the best team in the NBA now because of the Kawhi Leonard addition. But his skill essentially is that motor, and that you can have that. It's hard. It's hard only because it becomes sort of a mental thing. Can you push yourself to play like that? And yes, like you say, there's some people who either do or don't. But it's a nice example that's some way. Obviously, you have to have other elements. A guy like Gafford with the size, and in his case, his athletic ability and his ability to bounce off the floor quickly like that. But if you combine that with somebody who just, we all say, and you always hear about these guys, he plays hard, he works hard. Well, no, not very many do, really. And few who do can turn it into a lucrative career. And as amazing as it seems, many can, and I wouldn't say choose not to. It's just you have to have that, mental drive too. And, as I've watched Gafford these couple of games, it's been encouraging to watch that, he'll continue to run up and down the court, and play through mistakes and play through opportunities when other guys you could see on the other side of the court are monopolizing the ball. Because guys lose enthusiasm, the ball's not moving around. The team's not playing, in a team concept. But there's always something that you can do. Get to the boards, go follow a shot, run the court, get open, try to create something in a turnover, and then run out, and that you can turn yourself into 6 or 8 or 10 points. That's kind of what he did yesterday. They weren't playing fast, and so it was in the half court. And you could see Gafford doesn't have much of an offensive game. He doesn't. He doesn't finish in the half. It doesn't like you could give him the ball and he's going to make a play off the dribble. He's not going to do that. But he still, ran around, managed to get 8 points and 8 rebounds, and which is a decent output for a game that really you couldn't point to one thing that he did well.
Talking with Sam Smith, formerly of the Chicago Tribune, now covering the Bulls for Bulls.com. Sam, you mentioned these summer league games. I think he had 8 and 8 in the loss against the Cavaliers, and then has 21 points, shoots 90% against the Lakers. Just from covering these games over the years, how much do you take away from the initial appearances and the initial games of these Bulls players that you see up front during these summer league games?
Well, you really can't take very much at all. I mean, despite what we just said and talked about, you can't take anything really from the numbers in summer league. There's always that disclaimer of it just summer league, and sometimes you'll see a guy, do terrific. He'll get 25 or 26 points and big game, and then he shows up with the team and he can't do anything. And then there are guys who struggle and we're doing nothing, and you say, wow. Like I remember Trae Young last year. We watched him a little bit in summer league and go, oh, God, this guy can't play. He's not going to play. And obviously after some early struggles came on and, has maybe made a run at Rookie of the Year with Doncic last year. So on that level, you can't make judgments. But what you can make judgments on the things that translate to the NBA. What their shot looks like, what they look like handling the ball, how they look comfortable in the court, things they do. And, that's what you could take away from someone like Gafford, that, the things that what does he do that translate into the NBA? And like we discussed, has, some of that willingness to compete, to continue to play, energy to run the court, finish, make plays, good attitude, and not only a willing teammate, but a guy willing to continue, to compete. But one of the things I've been disappointed about, and you see it, and it's not completely the players' fault. Teams are complicit in that in recent years, but you see a lot of the top players, they don't want to play. This load management thing that you hear about in the NBA recently. And I think it was a bad lesson this year as much as the Raptors had success. They gave Leonard 20 games off and they won the title. And I think that's going to be sort of a bad message to a lot of players that, we can take some games off. And so I give the Bulls credit. Gafford has played a lot, played both games. Kobe White, their number one pick, played a lot. And virtually all the other lottery picks went home or they didn't come. Obviously, some have some injury issues. Williamson played a Zion, which was a lot of the excitement for Summer League. They had the 2 first games sold out, which was sort of unprecedented. Played a half, bumped his knee, and stopped playing. And, you got to play. And playing is part of it. You got to play through some injuries. And I'm not saying the guys, should risk injury, but you've got to. It's a long, tough season, and you've got to learn to play. And I think that's been a positive for someone like Gafford that I saw he took, and I forgot when exactly it was in the second game. He took a real shot to the ribs, and they stopped the game. They didn't stop the game, but I saw one of his teammates went and called timeout right away to get him off. He went off and left the game and came, and took a couple of minutes, but that he came back in and played enthusiastically afterwards. And to me, that's a big positive that translates, because what you're finding now in sports is a lot of guys are pacing themselves during the regular season, which is not a great idea because a lot of teams are not going to make the playoffs, maybe including the Bulls, who haven't in recent seasons, but I think they have a better chance this year with some of the additions they've made. So, I that's something I saw in Gafford that I think is a big positive, that, he took a shot, and picked himself up and threw himself back into the effort.
Talking with Sam Smith, author of The Jordan Rule, Second Coming, There Is No Next. And Sam, I want to get to your latest book in just a sec, but you kind of brought up a topic that I want to bridge into something else. Obviously, you covered Michael Jordan during his heyday throughout his career, and that was just different. I think the last time you and I talked, we had a conversation about how I miss the old NBA, whether the physicality, whether the trash talking. And I think the question I want to ask to you about is more of just the communication where the players, it seems like in my generation's NBA players, there's too much friendliness, there's too much cohesiveness with today's NBA, with how players interact with each other, particularly on the court when they're smiling, hugging, laughing with each other. You simply didn't see that during the 80s and 90s. And I miss that personally. That's the basketball that I enjoyed. Do you miss covering the days of the NBA where it seemed like that there was a lot more, maybe the competitiveness isn't the right word, but a lot more fire, a lot more animosity between players, unlike there is today?
I'm not actually one who, even though I'm supposed to with my age group, look back and say things were better. I always think things get better as things move forward, and the NBA, level of play is, terrific. It's changed obviously a lot with the shooting and the open style play. The difference is, back you used to have greater rivalries because of the stability of teams, where players would be with teams. And when Kevin Durant made that move to Golden State, there was some criticism even from guys like Magic Johnson were asked, and Larry Bird, and say, well, Isaiah Thomas, I wanted to stay. And in fact, Isaiah had an opportunity late in his career to go to the Knicks, and chose to, which would have been better with the Pistons sort of falling apart, and chose to stay with the Pistons. And their notion was, we rather stay and beat that guy with our team. But as like going from rotary phones to cell phones, and any of your listeners know what a rotary phone even is.
I guarantee you, Tye does not. Things
evolve and things change, and what's changed essentially, and I know there's a criticism, and I'm sure you get it on the talk radio shows a lot about the player movement, and it's hard to root for your team because guys think. But to me, that's a positive. Back years ago, players had no ability to move, to enhance their situations, to make judgment. People always said, well, they get compensated for it. They make a lot more money, so they shouldn't have the freedom to change jobs like we do. They're not it's not a regular profession. Well, no, they should. And I think their opportunities, were limited and suppressed by management. I'm kind of a union labor guy, and I don't like it's harder to build a team, and it's but you just have to be smarter, and I kind of like that too. At Golden State, what they did, they didn't necessarily only do it through free agency, and it helped. They got 2 championships because of adding Durant, but they had one before with draft picks and the moves they made with Curry and Thompson and Draymond Green in the draft. They were good lower draft picks and turned it into a great team, and that's what you're going to have to do. You might not be able to keep them, like Leonard, moved on from San Antonio and now moved on from Toronto, and we see Durant and Kyrie Irving, but that's been great in the NBA. It's enhanced. To me, it's for all the whining fans do about the team. They can't keep guys together. They love free agency and they love the movement, and the NBA has only grown more popular. We would like to see, you'd like to see more identification with teams sometimes, but I think this dynamic, has helped and has continued really to make the NBA. I mean, maybe football is generally more popular overall because of the gambling and the physicality nature of it, but there's no league that gets talked about more year-round than the NBA, because of the movement, because of the possibilities with teams, because you could get a dynasty like Golden State and now turn it over and maybe it'll be the Clippers. So, even though there's this, some of the negatives like you mentioned, and I agree, I like the continued evolution of the NBA, the ability for players to manipulate it a little more, and and we use it loosely, working man, because they still are. I like to see the division of power moving to the players more. So as a result, you're not going to have those kind of same rivalries because these guys are working together a lot more than they ever did. They've gotten closer, and I'm not. We love that rivalry with the Bulls and the Pistons, and they truly did hate one another. And Michael Jordan's hatred of Isaiah Thomas was probably the greatest rivalry in the history of the game. To the point that Jordan didn't completely keep Isaiah Thomas off the Dream Team in '92. Actually, he was going to compete. It wasn't that, even though it came out that he told the committee he wasn't going to compete if Isaiah was on the team. But he hated Isaiah so much that he wanted Isaiah to think so. No, so you're right. There's no rivalries like that. There's nothing like that exists anymore in the NBA because of, the nature of the way these teams change. But, in its way, like, the internet and communication and all those things, while you're missing some of the elements and privacy of the past, you've got great new elements that, have continued with, what the NBA has evolved to.
Sam Smith joining us. We'll just keep you for another moment or so, Sam. Again, we appreciate it very much. It's been amazing to see the change in how seriously the teams in New York City are taken now. But the Nets are taken very seriously, and obviously for very good reason. Been a while since the Knicks were taken seriously. You are a native of Brooklyn. I mean, you're more associated with the city of Chicago, but you were born and raised and grew up in that fabulous borough that, of course, houses the Nets. Could you have ever imagined a day? Now, keeping in mind that when the Nets moved from New Jersey to Brooklyn, they were still sort of like the bumbling Nets. Could you have ever imagined a day where any team in Brooklyn, outside of the Dodgers-Yankees rivalry back in the day, could have completely outshone the Knicks, who play in what I guess still is the mecca of basketball, but it just doesn't seem like the best players are interested in playing there?
Those two dynamics with New York and Los Angeles are going to be really interesting because the historic franchises are the Knicks and the Lakers. For whatever incompetence the Knicks have displayed over the last several decades, and it has been, with poor management and circumstances, and now with the Lakers, essentially since the death of Jerry Buss. Those are the franchises that the older fans certainly. I grew up, like you said, I grew up there, and it was attracted to those early Knicks in the '60s and the '70s when the Knicks had won a couple of titles. The last titles they won in '70 and '73. But when you talk with New Yorkers and you read things in New York, they still talk about the '70 Knicks as their ideal. And I think, and I'm sure in L.A., even though the Clippers now have built this potentially tremendous team, with the addition of Paul George and Leonard, and with the players they had, I talked about Patrick Beverly a little before. That those teams are going to be, even though the Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, would talk about rivalries. That could be the next best great rivalry in sports, Lakers Clippers. But people in those city identify with the historic team. So it'll be interesting to see. I have my doubts, that people will become Nets fans or Clippers fans more so, because you usually keep that allegiance, and that'll be quite the test to see, how much in those two particular cities. And like you say, Nets just came, recently to Brooklyn and was sort of a bumbling New Jersey franchise actually for many years, essentially since the league forced them to sell Julius Erving when they came into the NBA from the ABA because of the high cost they charge the ABA teams to join the NBA. And that's where sort of a dynasty of the ABA. I'm sure many fans don't remember that, but they had great teams in the ABA with Rick Barry at first, and then Julius Erving, and won titles, and they were a great fun team that had nowhere to play. I remember watching games of the Nets in Teaneck, New Jersey, on Long Island, all over the place. And so those two dynamics will be interesting because the Nets obviously are going to be, especially next year with Durant, assuming they're healthy, will be far better than the Knicks. They've been better. They were better than the Knicks this past season too, but. The interesting part is as much more quality team they were last season than the Knicks, they had the lowest attendance in the entire NBA, number 30. So those two rivalries are, talked about missing that essentially before, and those two are going to be interesting developing rivalries because, sort of the old commercial, like the Avis, if you remember the old Avis commercial about being number 2, you're going to try harder. Those teams are trying harder now, and we'll see how much impact it has. But I think it's still, again, it's going to be good for the league.
Yeah, we all know number 1, Hertz had OJ running through the airport, so, be careful with that.
Yeah, I try not to mention that.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Sam, you are awesome. Really appreciate you joining us. I hope we can talk with you again once the NBA season approaches.
Yeah, I know if the Bulls ever draft anyone from Arkansas again, I'll hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe even when one starts to play when the regular season comes along. Thanks again for your time.
All right, take care.
Really enjoyed that. Ty, when I was growing up, there were 3 sports books that had a huge impact upon me and really all my friends. One was John Feinstein's Season on the Brink, about playing for Bobby Knight for a full year and following Indiana. The other was Buzz Bissinger's Friday Night Lights, and then there was Sam Smith's The Jordan Rules. So, and then it was really cool having him on there. Before we go to the break, though, anybody getting into the real estate market, it's hot right now. If it's time to sell your home, Nick and Ellie Glidewell can get you top dollar. Very aggressive. They market their real estate in so many ways with professional photography, video. They got a fleet of different drones and a 3D virtual home tour they can put together for you. Been helping people buy and sell their homes for over 10 years. Nick and Ellie Glidewell truly love what they do. They'll advertise their clients on social media, TV, radio, newspaper, and much more. Find Nick and Ellie Glidewell at Facebook or Instagram or nickandellie.com. Back after a break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio. This is the Morning Rush.
Danny's been holding.
I think we should hire Officer Breeden and the guy that tackled Baker Mayfield as tackling coordinators up there.
Officer Breeden, and I don't remember the officer's name in Fayetteville that did tackle Baker Mayfield.
Well, that was a good tackle.
It was a good form tackle. The key to a good tackle is when you get your arms around him, you got to take one hand and lock the wrist with the other.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Want to have more than your average home? D&D Flooring is a simple choice. You can choose to have excellent customer service and design assistance with D&D Flooring. Wood, vinyl, carpet, to beautiful window treatments, professional installation every time. 0 financing options available. Come see D&D Flooring large showroom and selections. D&D Flooring, serving the River Valley and surrounding areas. 1323 Main Street, Van Buren, or call 474-0533.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
The Paint Store in Van Buren, ready to help you with summer projects, putting 31 years of experience to work and helping you choose a new color or match one you really need. In addition to a computer, they use their eyes and minds to see color and make adjustments to choose just the right Richards Paint product for your project. They'll keep samples in your name and address for 10 years. No other paint seller does that. See the large selection of the current and popular paint colors from Richard Paints and experience customer service you won't get anywhere else. The Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road, Van Buren.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And he's on in place of the injured Ryan Mallett, and he has been brilliant. 12 of 13. Dude, that one's caught. Touchdown. Whoa, what a rope.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe Adams.
There's not a backup in the country that can throw a ball like that.
Chicago. White with a great feed, and the alley-oop slam dunk from Gafford. Here's the drive from Lemon. Nice dish at the rim and the slam dunk.
5-24, you turn the ball over and don't get back in defense.
And one to Daniel Gafford. Build led by as many as 19. It's up to 15. Great pass and finish. Daniel Gafford. Rookies and second-year guys. Oh, Alley-oop time. Daniel Gafford finishing it off.
Phil,
I love the screaming. That's great. Great stuff.
Oh, that's maybe he'll patent that. Maybe that'll be his thing, where people in the NBA just know him as the guy that just lets it go.
Could be like
down.
Monica Seles was with women's tennis. She used to. I mean, there's more, in men's tennis too. But the players that always grunt whenever they hit the ball. Gafford can be the guy who screams every time he dunks the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you take it. So if he's screaming, he's scoring. That's going to be his theme. But dude had, I think, 5 dunks in that game against the Lakers. His first game, shot 90% from the field. And evidently the Bulls took notice, Phil, because they reportedly are paying him some money.
Yeah, he said he's already winning. He already won himself a 4-year contract. 2 of those years guaranteed. 4 years, $6.1 million rookie deal that goes to Daniel Gafford, the 38th overall selection. I don't think every second-round pick gets 2 guaranteed seasons. That's pretty impressive for Gafford. Good for him.
Yeah, if you want to get a chance to watch him tonight, he plays the Pelicans. Zion Williamson, I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but
I saw he's supposed to be out the rest of the summer
league. Is he? That's a bummer.
I'm sorry. So there's one thing that I wasn't going to watch that I won't watch anyway.
Yeah, 8:30 on NBA TV, and then he plays Wednesday against the Hornets at 4 p.m. if you want to get a chance to watch him. And kind of like Sam Smith was saying in the last segment, he's not really a guy that looks at second-rounders as, man, they might make the team, they might have potential. He seemed pretty rock solid on this kid having a future. Now that, again, that's why I asked him, hey, how much do you take away from first or second summer league game? I mean, he's done this for so many years, but he seemed pretty high on Daniel Gafford, and that's a guy that's been covering the Bulls since the late 70s. So if he's high on again, you typically trust his judgment more often than not. Hopefully it ends up paying out for Daniel Gafford.
Well, look, I found it interesting that Sam Smith pointed out the motor, the energy that Gafford brings.
Yeah.
And with the size that Daniel has, the wingspan you have, the athleticism that's already there, plus the willingness to sprint down the court every time you have to with that motor. His body type, his athleticism plays into the thought of somebody that's a second-round pick that will get those 2 years, that is going to make the team. You can have a motor, but be 6'5", and it's like, if you don't have much else other than the motor at that point, what does it matter if you're 6'5"? At 6'11" with that body, the motor means something for a player like Daniel Gafford, not to start, not to get a ton of minutes, but to be a pretty important role player off the bench at first.
Yeah, and I was listening to Kevin McPherson talk about his play, and he said that it looked like Daniel was having a little less trouble staying on his feet, which often hindered him times in college, his inability to stay on his feet, it sounds kind of weird, but if you watch games this season, there were several times where he was on the ground. And it also, Phil, looks like he's put on a little more good weight. I'm talking muscle. I'm talking weight he needs to have in the NBA, because that slender and stocky, that ain't going to cut it at the next level. He needs to get as thick as he can without losing his explosiveness and tenacity. And it looks like just initially, now again, 2 summer league games in, we can't take away too much, but it looks like at least at first he's off to a hot start.
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South coming up in a moment. Hey, if you're a business owner and you're looking for more curb appeal for your building, or maybe you need more security for your business, a new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. The Fence Man specializes in custom installations. They've been doing it for over 40 years. Stuff like gates or controlled access with card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. Call Henry at 479-782-3936. That's the Fence Man, a division of Quantum Property Services. Connor O'Gara next for College Football Talk on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
You spend a lot of time worrying about your family, so you shouldn't have to worry about your tires. Protect what matters to you with Michelin tires and experience a clever combination of confidence and performance. This summer, drive away with extra savings too. Between June 12th and July 11th, get a $70 reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger and light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. See MichelinMan.com/promo for complete offer details. Offer expires 7/11/2019. Void where prohibited.
Budweiser wants you to drink wiser. And here's the thing. 74% of you already choose to stay in control instead of overdoing it when you're out with friends. So order a cheeseburger before a big night. Have a glass of water alongside your beer. The good news is that most of you are already making the right choice. But what would be even better is for everyone to drink wiser. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Doe's Eat Place is the best of the best steakhouse in the River Valley. Award-winning steaks in a great atmosphere is what you will experience every time. Doe's Eat Place offers over 150 selections of wine, including 50 Cabernets, 200 spirits, including 80 whiskeys, bourbons, and scotch, and 75 beers, with 20 different local beers and 50 imported and craft beers. Everything you need for a memorable evening is at Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd in Fort Smith. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday, and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Call 784-9111 for reservations.
Have you been thinking about new windows or vinyl siding for your home? Then think Superior Siding and Windows. Superior Siding and Windows has been offering low-maintenance, energy-efficient products in the River Valley for over 40 years. Superior Siding and Windows also specializes in sunrooms, patio covers for carports, and much more. Call 646-7888 for a free in-home estimate. Superior Siding and Windows, 646-7888. Superior Siding and Windows. Look for us in the Yellow Pages and like us on Facebook.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
It's the Red, White, and Bluegrass Festival at Magic Springs, featuring a bluegrass jam session, games, contests, a corn maze, and live entertainment throughout the day. Plus an unforgettable concert featuring Ricky Skaggs. Saturday, July 13th at Magic Springs in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The festival begins at 2 p.m. and the festival is free with your one-day admission or season pass. Get yours today at magicsprings.com or Kroger.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
On first down now, Boyd the call. Cuts back across the 40. Raheem to midfield. To the 40. To the 30. To the 20. He's going to the house. Raheem Boyd for a touchdown.
Connor O'Gara, outstanding writer at Saturday Down South. He's the senior national columnist and joins us today with a week before the start of SEC Media Days. Connor, I know football season really never does end for you, but you got to be licking your chops with media days coming up and games about, 54 days until Arkansas football starts, which means 47 before Miami, Florida.
Goodness, man, I can't get here soon enough. I've been counting down the days. I'm ready to go. I don't know about y'all, but I'm chomping at the bit here. This off season, it drags a little bit at the end, but we get to this point where it feels so close, but it's still so far at the same time.
Well, and I can tell you're chomping at the bit because you're already a prolific writer, but I feel like you've been even more prolific in the last few days. So I can sense that excitement. So I looked at your piece about 50 things I think before the start of the season, and I'm looking at the one that deals with Arkansas, and it's number 41. Your question is, can Nick Starkel follow the Joe Burrow route? And the thought that I'm looking at this is that so Burrow transfers from Ohio State and starts his first year. There's going to be a quarterback battle this offseason or, once camp starts between Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel. I think Starkel's the guy. What do you think?
I think Starkel's the guy, but it wouldn't surprise me if Hicks got the nod early on. And if they just did sort of let's see what we do early on with you as the face of our offense just because you have the familiarity in the system. And then like week 3 or something like that, they go to Starkel because coming in late and learning a new offense is not an easy thing to do. And I think that they kept it pretty vanilla last year for Joe Burrow. And when you arrive over the summer, there's still a rapport that you have to be able to develop with your receivers and all of that. And because they have 2 years with Starkel, they can play it a little bit slower. And that's why I think that while, you're talking about totally different scenarios, team-wise, different aspirations, expectations, all that stuff, but I think that Starkel can follow the Burrow path because I like a lot of what he did at Texas A&M. I thought he was going to be the starter at the beginning of last year. It surprised me when Jimbo Fisher went with Kellen Mond. I thought that clearly that Nick Starkel was the better quarterback in 2017, but Jimbo just believed that Kellen was a better fit in the system, and to his credit, he proved to be right. Now, Nick Starkel, the way that he handled the whole backup situation last year, I credit to him because that guy didn't pout. He didn't decide to transfer in the middle of the season. He provided the depth that program needed, and as a result, now he's going to have 2 years where he's got a chance to be the man. And I think that there is a good chance that he becomes the guy. It's just a matter of how much time it takes because he's got the talent. Now, he's not going to throw you 60, 70-yard bombs and blow you away and look like this stud NFL prospect, but he can make a lot of big-time throws, and that was a guy who did some really good things the last time he started a game. I mean, nearly threw for 500 yards in the Belk Bowl when he was, throwing all over the field in Charlotte. So I think that Starkel's got a lot of potential in this offense. I think it's just a matter of developing with Chad Morris. As we saw last year, that is not an easy thing to do.
What do you expect from Burrow? I mean, you're talking about they can open it up a little more his second year there with LSU. Do you think that Burrow can be more than a placeholder is not the right term, but just a game manager?
I'm a Burrow apologist. I really am, and I kind of noticed I was in the middle of last year, and part of it is because I think he does a lot of the little things right. I think that he completely won over that locker room with his attitude. I love the fact that when he got to LSU, he basically said, look, I've got my undergrad credit stuff finished. I'm just going to classes online. This is my job. I'm treating this like I'm in the NFL. I've got 2 years to make this thing work, and I am absolutely determined to do that. And credit to him. I mean, he really developed a good rapport with those receivers, and they trusted him. Now, his shortcomings, a lot of people looked at the raw numbers, and they weren't good in the middle of the season. I definitely will admit that. But at the same time, I think the fact that he was new to the system, their backup quarterback situation was awful. I mean, people forget last year they lost 2 quarterbacks before the start of the season. Miles Brennan had a midseason injury that he was really on the sidelines for, but they did not want to put him into a game. And their tackle situation was terrible last year at LSU, which is pretty rare to say. So they could only do a few things with Joe Burrow. And I think that down the stretch against A&M and in the bowl game against UCF, you saw what he's actually capable of. Is he going to be a guy who runs the ball 25 times a game? No. But is he going to be somebody who runs it a lot more? Absolutely. That's why they brought in Joe Brady from the New Orleans Saints to implement this RPO system, and he and Steve Ensminger want to do more things with Joe Burrow. He's got the capabilities. There's no doubt in my mind. And with what they have returning on receiver, that's an LSU offense that could be in the top 20 by season's end, and it would not surprise me. I like what he has going, and I think Burrow has a lot of these mental reps that I think quarterbacks across the country are still searching for, and he's going to do a lot of the little things right that's going to put LSU in good positions this year.
Connor, correct me if I'm wrong, but did they line up under center once during the spring game?
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all shotgun RPO type stuff, and that's what Burrow ran in Ohio State. I mean, people forget that. The guy can move, and he was coming into a system where that was a guy who wasn't necessarily used to operating under center that much, and then he comes into LSU and he has to learn what is a new offense, and he's learning a new offense again. But at the same time, I think that he's versatile, and I think as somebody who is a coach's son, I think he just understands defenses a lot differently than your average player, and I think that he's a good person that can adjust to a change like that, and I wouldn't really worry about him setting something like that setting him back in what's going to be year 5 for him in college.
So, Connor, I want to highlight 2 quarterbacks outside of the SEC. We're speaking with Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South columnist here on Halftime. That's Sam Ehlinger and Shea Patterson. Now, I don't know if you saw the Shea Patterson potential burner account thing that came out. I know that you in that 50 Things column wrote that Sam Ehlinger, along with Tate Martell, are probably the 2 most hated quarterbacks heading into the season. And when you look at Michigan and Texas, Michigan is coming off another disappointing year where they lose to Ohio State when they probably should have won that game. First time I think they've been favored in that series since Urban Harbaugh have been going at it. And then Texas, them getting that Sugar Bowl win, him saying Texas is back after they beat Georgia. When I look at these 2 ball clubs this year, there is so much hype. There's so much potential with these 2 teams. Who has more pressure awaiting them? Is it Tom Herman in Texas, or is it is it Jim Harbaugh in Michigan?
It's Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. There's no question about it. I mean, to not win last year was one thing. I think if they had lost in the fashion against Ohio State last year, if they had lost in the fashion that they did in 2016, it's different. But to lose and to allow 62 points in that game was just a kick to the gut, because you're like, man, if not now, when? this is the opportunity for this to happen. That Ohio State defense was vulnerable last year. But as we found out, that Michigan defense was pretty vulnerable as well because it was missing a couple of its key pieces. They just weren't at 100%. We saw that against Florida as well. But it's Michigan. I mean, Michigan is this program that, 5 years in now, we're entering year 5 of the Jim Harbaugh era, and he's still searching for, 1, his first win against Ohio State, 2, his first New Year's Six bowl victory. Guy hasn't won a division title yet. Now, I'm in a little bit more in the, let's take it easy on bashing Harbaugh, because I think the program is in way, way better shape than it's been in any point in the post-Lloyd Carr era. And I think that fans can't take that for granted because it can get a whole lot worse. And if you run this guy out of town, there is a much, much steeper fall for Michigan than where it's currently at. I mean, let's not forget, they won 10 games in a row last year. Like, they were in position to make a playoff for the second time in 3 years, potentially having that last game there against Ohio State where that's at least at stake. Now, they didn't show up in that game, and they didn't show up against Florida, and that's what we're going to remember. But at the same time, I think people look at this situation without Urban Meyer this year, and Michigan is penciled in as the favorites to win the Big Ten, and deservedly so. And when you return a quarterback like Shea Patterson, who a lot of people have high expectations of, there's a belief that you should be competing for a national championship. And I don't think it's national championship or bust necessarily, but man, if you're a Michigan fan, you got to feel like this is your best chance to be able to get that division title, get to a Big Ten championship, and do these things that you've been talking about for the last decade that have just been such a struggle. For me, Michigan is just at a different place right now than Texas, whereas Texas is still a little bit of the up and coming, and they showed a lot of progress last year. And there are a lot of fans really excited about what they did, of course, against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. You have a little, you can have a 9-win season, and nobody's going to freak out necessarily at Texas. Whereas if that happens again in Michigan, man, it'll get ugly in a hurry.
Connor, I'm going to read this quote from you. You know the quote I'm talking about from Julian Fleming, the nation's #1 wide receiver who committed to Ohio State, I think it was about a month and a half ago, something like that. Says about Alabama, their coaching has been inconsistent. I've been recruited by 2-3 coaches there. I want someone I can rely on. Goes on to say that's a stepping stone for coaches now. They go to Alabama, they're moving up because that's just the process they go through. Nick Saban is going to be there, is going to be reliable, but ultimately it was about something I needed someone to coach me. Do you think this is just a one-off thing, or is all of the change going on the last couple of years at Alabama and the coaching staff, is that really going to hurt them recruiting?
I don't know if it's going to hurt them recruiting as much as it'll hurt them on the field. I mean, last year, let's look at what everybody said after the Clemson loss and the lopsided fashion in which it happened, 44-16. For something like that to happen, everybody's trying to figure out what exactly it was. And the most common takeaway that I saw was, well, Clemson's got all this coaching continuity, and Alabama is just rotating assistant year after year after year. And I think that it's easy to look at that and say, okay, that was Alabama's undoing, but if they're still recruiting these #1 classes, everything's fine. But my question is, how is that going to catch up to them this year? Where let's not forget how good of a regular season they had last year with Dan Enos, with Josh Gaddis, with Mike Locksley. These guys that were so good. I mean, really, really outstanding at what they were able to bring out of that offensive group. And I think this year, the expectation is that, they'll be fine because they return Tua, they return all these stud receivers, a couple 5-star running backs. They'll be fine. They're Alabama. But at the same time, what if they're not able to maximize the potential of those guys the way that Josh Gaddis really figured out that receiving group and went in there and was really, really instrumental in getting those young guys to buy in and to become fully committed to getting on the same page as Tua? What if those guys just aren't maximized in the way that they were last year? I think it's a fair question to ask, and I think that I understand where this point is coming from, because recruits, they look at coaches, they look at assistant coaches, fair or not, and they try and figure out how long they're going to be there. And I think that some recruits will commit to a place because of the relationship that they have with an assistant coach, and if they feel like that guy's going to be gone in a year no matter what, then why are they going to want to sign up for that? So, I think you should commit to a program over a coach, but at the same time, I kind of understand where that would be a big, kind of takeaway point for a certain recruit, because I think Alabama has been able to survive it in years past, but there's just no guarantee that you're going to survive it year to year. Now, I don't think Alabama's floor is going to be like all of a sudden they're just going to fall off the face of the earth and miss a New Year's Six Bowl or something like that. But at the same time, I think it's fair to question if this is going to impact them in 2019 and if they're really going to be this high-powered juggernaut that we're used to seeing.
Connor, you're the best. Love having you on. Looking forward to talking college football again with you sometime soon.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
You got it. That's Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist of Saturday Down South. Give him a follow on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Before we go to the break, want to remind you, if you're looking for a new car, Rhodes Chevrolet has been a name you can trust for over 80 years. Rhodes is dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. From the first time you walk into the showroom, you're treated like family, part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has served the River Valley for over 8 decades. That's Rhodes Chevrolet. You'll find your next dependable vehicle there at 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren or at RhodesChevy.com. Rhodes Chevrolet, dependable since 1934. Cherry on the top of halftime, next on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Enjoy happy hour 6 days a week at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Monday through Friday from 3 till 6 and all day on Saturday. Enjoy happy hour specials, including $1 off all drinks, and Paquito nachos are only $4. Your choice of beef, bean, chicken, or cheese. Happy hour specials, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 and all day on Saturday at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 6 days a week, Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
This is your last chance to save $1,000 off the remaining new 2018 GMC Sierras at Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston. Right now, you can save $16,000 off new in-stock 18 Sierra Denali 4-wheel drive half-ton crew cabs and $13,000 off new Sierra SLT half-ton crew cabs. These savings are unprecedented and will not be repeated. Hurry in now to Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston and find your next truck at prices you can't believe. Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston or online at huggm.com. Closer than you think.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
What's your next obsession? If it's diving lessons, Ocean Impact Dive Shop, Western Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma's premier dive shop is waiting on you. Ocean Impact is a full-service 5-star PADI dive shop offering air fills and tank inspections. The staff can answer all your questions and get you started on your underwater adventure. Ocean Impact Dive Shop, 2127 South 56th Street, Fort Smith. Don't wait, summer's just around the corner. Get to Ocean Impact Dive Shop. Go get your dive on. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction is here to assist in the rebuilding of our community during this historical time in the River Valley and surrounding areas. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction does quality workmanship from complete roofing, siding, gutters, inside your home remodeling, plus all your construction needs. Give them a call today for a free estimate. 479-434-4455. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction, licensed, insured, and bonded. Check us on the web at adamsroofingandconstruction.com. Adams & Son Roofing and Construction, here for our community.
Looking for a high-quality and affordable vehicle? Hertz Car Sales offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks. Amazing customer services with affordable prices on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome, so stop by to Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Sit comfortably on your patio or the sidelines in a Four Seasons Courtyard Extra Large Zero Gravity Chair from Metters Lumber True Value for only $49.99. This extra large chair with a sturdy steel frame and sling fabric features double bungee cord stability and a ring lock mechanism for easy recline. It even has a detachable tray for drinks. Choose from red, gray, blue, or tan. Add a matching folding side table for only $14.99. It features a fabric top with cup holder. Pick up these bargains of the month today while supplies last at Metters Lumber True Value.
We were on a break!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Sterner, 5-step drop this time, going for the home run, and it's caught! It's Lucas, and he's heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas, 80 yards.
MyBookie.ag, one of a number of sports books in Las Vegas, is picking Arkansas at 6 wins for their over-under. I've seen 5.5 in a lot of other places.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm going. And I would pick the over on that. Honestly, at 6, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I think 5.5 is a good number to get both sides because the whole idea, if you're a Vegas website or if you're a sports book, is to get people betting on both sides. I don't see many people betting over 6, Phil, just to be honest.
Our friend Connor O'Gara mentioned that he saw that Rutgers is picked at 2.5 wins. They got UMass and Liberty. He's going over. I'm going to go with him on that. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday. For Tye, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, get better.
Why go north when you can get the best deal on a new GMC or Buick here locally at Harry Robinson Buick GMC? There is no reason to drive more than an hour to buy your next vehicle. Harry Robinson has the same big rebates and discounts promised at